Or do they invite us?
Good evening. We are ready to call the regular board meeting of March 22nd to order. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Here.
Ms. Barnes,
Present.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Here.
Mr. Parker.
Here.
So we're going to take this opportunity for a moment of silence to reflect on the ongoing violence in our world, ranging from the war in Europe to the are continually facing gun violence in our own community. So if we would just be joined in a moment of silence for that reflection. Thank you. We will be having the pledge led by our lovely young ladies from LP Stewart Academy for Girls. That's next.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And ladies, stay put, because after we hear from Dr. Durant from our mission and vision statement, I think we're going to hear from you again.
Yes, TPS mission is to produce competitive college and career-ready graduates through a rigorous curriculum across all grade levels by implementing Ohio New Learning Standard with fidelity. Our vision statement strives to be an A-rated school district whose graduates are college and career ready. Thank you.
And Dr. Durant, you'll lead us through the presentations in section 2.
Yes, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Mazer.
Good evening. Again, we are thrilled to welcome the students from LP Stewart Academy for Girls. They are excited to perform a song and dance tribute to women in history. They are joined and under the direction of Ms. Crawford. Whenever you're ready, ladies.
At our Black History program this year, we experienced how we love our hair. Sometimes there is negativity surrounding our hair. We are here to express how much we love it. It is Women's History Month, and Madam C.J. Walker is essential to us because she knew that hair was important to women and girls for their self-esteem. We see our hair as a reflection of our identity because it is both personal and public. Olive Benson is another pioneer in the industry. She was once Director of Education for Soft Sheen. She pioneered the first Black Events Training Academy. She was the first authentic multicultural stylist who insisted hair is a texture, not an intensity. Courtney Atlee is founder and CEO of Oak Valley Brands and founder of the Main Choice Hair Care Products. Courtney built her beauty empire from the ground up by incorporating her specialized knowledge base with her own curiosity. Courtney went from taking a $500 investment and turning it into over $100 million in sales in just 6 years. She saw a need and shared it with us, and again we express we love our hair. I love my hair. Oh yes, I love my hair. The kings and girls are there because I love my hair. Oh, they can say, but I love it. Say something, but I love it. You can say, but I love it. I love my hair. Keep it curly, short or straight. Know that God made me that way. So for that I celebrate my hair, my hair. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. I love my hair. Oh yes, I love my hair. The geese and girls are there because I love my hair. Oh, they can say, but I love it. Say it's something, but I love it. It gets everywhere, but I love it. I love my hair. This is my message to you. Know that you can be proud to. And look what's the part of your hair, your hair. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. I love my hair. Oh yes, I love my hair. The kings and girls are there because I love my hair. Oh, they can say, but I love it. Say it's something, but I love it. It gets everywhere, but I love it. I love my hair. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine. It's mine, and I'm fine, 'cause it's mine.
That was dynamite. Thank you, ladies, very much. We always love it when the students from LP Stewart Academy for Girls come to represent. So thank you. Now I would like to turn the agenda over to Ms. Sheena Barnes. She has a quick presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Mazur. I just want to say first, that is a great way to celebrate the passing of the Crown Act, okay? I love it. So like they mentioned, it's Women's History Month, and I believe giving our queens roses, well, I can't afford roses, but flowers while they're here. So the 5 women I will introduce to you shortly has proven Oprah Winfrey's quote to be true. And that quote is, knowing what sparks the light in you so that you in your own way can illuminate the world. Each of these women, and we have way more women throughout our district that shines a light for our community. It is a true inspiration to me and to our board as well. If I can ask Mr. Arando and Mr. Vasquez to be on standby for our flowers, please. I got heels on, I can't walk that well in them. So the first phenomenal woman that I want to introduce today is Miss Angela Jordan, AKA Miss Jordan, or Miss Angie. She is the backbone of TPS and Dr. Durant. And Miss Jordan have rode the journey of assisting all 3 Black superintendents. Out of our whole entire TPS history, we only had 3. Let that sink in, another Black history fact. We are the 4th largest district, and Miss Angie was there paving the way for innovation, for inspiration, and she is still doing it today and looking fabulous. Can we give her a hand clap? The next phenomenal woman I would like to introduce is Kate Swartz. She is the Executive Director of Autism Society of Northwest Ohio. For those who don't know Kate, she is an advocate for our youth that has special needs, autism, and she is a proud supporter for our parents, and we cannot do half the work without her. Thank you so much. Our next phenomenal leader is truly amazing. If you believe in the ripple effect, and this is this woman, this queen, Ashley Yoakum. She is the executive director of Toledo Public School Foundation. With her hard work and dedication, she actually helps our teachers to get the tools to get creative in the classroom. And we could not thank her enough for just making ways for that. Thank you so much. Our next phenomenal woman is Miss Artisha Riccio. Artisha? Oh, she's probably taking pictures. She's probably working. Hi. This queen is, let me get the official title, the executive secretary to the treasurer. But when I tell you she is the backbone of the board, she keeps us in check. We know what we're doing because of her. If I had her in my personal life, I would be a little bit more fabulous, but she is amazing and she is dedicated to TPS through and through, and we cannot thank her enough. And our next phenomenal woman cannot be here tonight because she's probably working for the community, doing good work as usual. Is Miss Tina Butts. If you don't know her, you're sleeping under a rock somewhere. I couldn't even get an official title because she has so many. She does a lot of work for our schools right now. She's working with the Young Women of Excellence in our 3R program, and she is a phenomenal motivator. She gets out to make sure we are safe in our community in all kind of ways and make sure our voices is heard. So I want to give a shout out to Tina Butts this evening. And we just want to thank everyone, every woman in our district. We see you, we hear you, we thank you because we could not do the hard work without you. So you're a true inspiration to me and the board as always. Can we get a picture?
Awesome stuff. Thank you, ladies. And now our next presentation, we have a congratulations to go out to Mr. Steck Schulte for receiving the Ohio Auditor of State Award with distinction again. Ms. Lori Brody, the Northwest Ohio Liaison for Auditor of State Keith Faber, is here to present Mr. Steck Schulte with his award.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I am really happy to be here again to present an outstanding award to the Toledo Public School District. And I'm here tonight on behalf of State Auditor Keith Faber. And I think it's very important to bring this in person and to celebrate it. It's important to note that this award puts your school district in a very select group. We audit about 5,900 people every year. There's about 6,000 entities total, and about 8% are eligible for this award. And I think it's important to know that it's presented to local governments as well as school districts that have met the criteria for a clean audit. And I'll bore you for a minute on the financial side. I know this is always everybody's favorite part, but you have to do all these things to win this award. You must file your financial report with the Auditor State within 150 days of your fiscal year end. You must have a clean audit, which is no findings for recovery, material citations, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, single audit findings, or question cost. The entity's management letter can contain no comments related to ethics referrals, question costs less than $10,000, lack of timely report submission, reconciliation issues, failure to obtain the timely single audit, findings for recovery less than $100, or any public meeting or public records infractions. The entity shall have no other financial concerns. And I think that list is pretty long. So why I think it's important is I think this award represents the work, though, of all the employees in the school district. Schools especially have so many employees. So I think it's important to note that they strive for accounting excellence every day to make it happen. I also want to recognize the superintendent and all of the board, because I think it's very important to note that you are watching every dollar that's spent of the taxpayers' money. But I also want to recognize your treasurer and his staff. I think Ryan and his staff have done a great job with their leadership, professionalism, and just their fiscal integrity. So I just wanted to celebrate him tonight, and I wanted to bring this in person. And on behalf of the state auditor, congratulations. He has won this before with the help of all of you. So congratulations, great job. I really
Our next presentation is focused on teamwork and pride, and it's all about being a Waite Indian. So Christina Lorton, the athletic director at Waite High School, received a phone call after the Waite boys sectional basketball game on February 26th from one of the game officials. He commended the 7 members of the team who took to the floor that night, as several starters of the team were not there. We would like to call the gentleman forward, along with Ms. Lorton and the coach and Mr. Dean. Pastor Parker has a resolution to read, so come on.
At this time, I'm honored to read the resolution commending the Waite High School varsity basketball team and coach. Whereas the Board of Education of the Toledo City School District, the board, wishes to recognize the Waite High School varsity basketball team, the team, and their coach, Darren Owens, for representing their school and community with pride, dignity, and selflessness. And whereas on February 26, 2022, the team traveled to Fostoria, Ohio to play against Lima Senior High School. And whereas the team consists of only 7 players, Pecco Rogers, William Mathis, Isaiah Ekenrod, Delrico Bird, Malik Tuggle, Isaiah Hyde, and Avery Dickens, and were outnumbered by their opponents. And whereas rather than forfeit, this team put forth their best efforts in the game. And whereas the official commended the team, remarking, quote, "They played till the very end with courage, valor, and sportsmanship that I as an official haven't witnessed in quite some time from such a lopsided score," end quote. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Toledo City School District that the board recognizes and congratulates the Waite High School varsity basketball team and their coach for their performance in the game against Lima Senior High School. The board commends the team for supporting each other and exemplifying true sportsmanship and teamwork. And the board commends the team for its positive representation of the school district and for persevering despite being outnumbered by its opponent. And the board encourages all members of our community to join in recognizing the dedication and hard work of the team. And this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption, and shall supersede any prior resolution or act of this board, which may be inconsistent or duplicative with the provision of this resolution. And it is hereby found and determined that all former actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Congratulations, gentlemen.
You're trying to, you gotta get their picture now. That's my job. Problem solved.
Great job, gentlemen. Nice job. Way to represent. Nice job, Ms. Lorton. Keep them in check. Congratulations, Mr. Dean. Way to keep them in check. Good job.
Come on.
I know, right?
I know, remember.
Yes, that's great. We're right in between. You wanna- There we go. That's it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and proud. Wait,
Yes, sir.
You never know. Mike. We have just one more presentation, and that is to recognize our retirees who are retiring from the district with 25 years or more service. And I know we have one retiree here. If there are any other retirees here tonight, you are welcome to come forward and walk the horseshoe and shake hands with the board. We have first Terrence Reeves, Athletic Director at Bowser High School, retiring with 25 years. Mary Taylor, Secretary 3 at Waite, retiring with 25 years and 10 months of service. Juanita Williams, CCSER at Stewart, 26 years of service. Janice Richardson, Administrator on Special Assignment. She's retiring with 27 years of service. Wanda S. King, she's a first grade teacher at McTagg, retiring with 29 years of service. Heidi Messino, kindergarten teacher at Grove Patterson Academy, 30 years of service. Sir Sandra McPherson, CCSC paraprofessional. She's retiring with 33 years of service. Brenda J. Duggan, speech language pathologist, 35 years of service. Mary Beth Porter, first grade teacher at Riverside Elementary, 35.5 years of service. Deborah Steele, truck driver for food service, 35 years, 7 months of service. Darlene Lawson, coordinator, food service, 36 years. Kim Hess, EIT at Chase STEM Academy. She's retiring with 38 years of service. And Stephen J. Horvath, CCSRE at START, 41 years of service, with a total of 416 years and 3 months of service to the students in Toledo Public Schools.
I think that concludes our presentations. Thank you, everyone. this is why we do it, is so that we can see what's going on in our schools and have opportunities to run into students and recognize people who deserve to be recognized and be TPS proud all the way around. So I want to thank everyone for those presentations. Thank you to the athletic committee for bringing the recognition for the boys basketball team. Thank you to Ms. Barnes for bringing us some special women to recognize and earn yourself some flowers. It's all really good work. I think we are to Section 3, community comments. Is Ms. Joyce Carpenti here? I think maybe we are not going to have community comments today. So that brings us to Section 4, organizational input. And we have a parent rep with Ms. Shabazz. We love our parents.
Hi, you guys. Good evening, everybody. How is everyone? And I am happy to be here tonight. So I just want to introduce myself and say that my name is Lahina Shabazz. I'm an insurance agent, an entrepreneur, an involved parent to several TPS proud children, as well as an active member of the TPS Advisory Board. I currently have a 6th grader at King Academy, and I have a senior at Jones Leadership Academy of Business. Everyone else is in college. I was invited here for this month's TPS board meeting, and I consider it a very special opportunity to make some headway in our community. Our meetings are monthly, and together we talk about a lot of issues. So I want to say that I had the pleasure of being able to watch last month's board meeting here, and something that struck me very special was what Mr. Bob Vasquez had to say, because it coincides so much with what we talk about on a monthly basis. So we get together and we try to figure out what the needs are in the community of parents, students, educators, the faculty and staff, just everyone. And we try to find ways to meet those needs. And so what I heard Mr. Vasquez say was that we have a plethora of resources here, but we don't have resolutions and we don't have enough awareness in the community. And that's something that we need to solve immediately. So in our meetings, what we discovered is that there's right now 2 major concerns that are plaguing us pretty much. And what it boils down to, among many others, is the safety of everyone and our mental health of our students, educators, and just everyone in the community. So what we want to do is we want to condense those 2 and figure out a way to be able to attack both of those and use the resources that we have, because I discovered that we actually do have a lot of resources here. We have a lot of people who are working on behalf of the community to make sure that we have built-in pieces, to help everybody. So some of the things that I thought about that we would do to come to that, because one of my favorite things to do is solve problems. So one of the big problems is that we don't have enough awareness. We don't have enough, people don't know about these resources. I'm one of those people who struggled to find, where can I go to get this issue taken care of? Where can my children go if they need counseling, if they need basic, fundamental needs, clothing, shelter, food, things of that nature? Who in the community can help us? And, parents came together, and when we get together, we hear the same things over and over and over again. I need this and I need that. But then we find out that there are hubs in the schools. There are programs that have already been, initiated. There is already Parent University, things of that nature. So what I want to take a look at is the parental and the family engagement piece. I think that that's a piece that's very important, and that's the piece that is really not active enough. As a parent who has been involved in schools for many, many years, I have served as a PTO president. I have served as just a volunteer at the schools. And that's the part to me that is needing the most help, is the the volunteer piece. Most of the time when you go to a school, they ask you to volunteer to read at the library or to maybe come and help out with an event and things of that nature. But what if we used that part as the piece that helps us get the awareness out there? What if we had our parents actually volunteer to get the information out? Because the people who are providing the resources cannot also be the people who are providing the awareness. There has to be separate components for that. So if we already have people who are working hard to make sure that we have all of these resources, then there has to be somebody else who is working hard to make sure that everyone knows about this, which would create a system for us. So I think that the parental involvement, the family engagement piece needs to be looked at more, and we need to put a little bit more pressure, I'll say, on the parents to be involved in that piece. That would help them become aware of what we have available, but also it would help them take part. They would be the people who are out there doing that, and that would also count towards their volunteer hours, because I know that many of our schools do require volunteer hours, and sometimes the schools struggle on exactly what to have the parents do. I've faced that lots of times. Like, okay, what can I do? I've signed up to volunteer. What is it that you need me to do? They already have a parent who's reading stories. They already have a parent who's hall monitor or lunch monitor or whatever it is. But get your parents together and give them that task of making sure that the social media that we're on is pushing out those programs and those resources that we have available. And maybe not just for that particular school, maybe for the whole community. You know what I mean? I am thrilled at the work that our schools do. I'm thrilled with King. I'm thrilled with Jones. Those are, where my last two kids are at right now. But I've had children who are also at Woodward. I've had children at Hawkins. I've had children at McTighe. I've had children pretty much all over the city. And I know that schools operate differently, individually on how they handle certain things. But I think that collectively, if we utilize the volunteer piece for our parents, that we could get awareness. We could really make that big. We could really have everyone be aware of what's going on in the community. And I really think that it would instill some more pride in our parents too. It would help our students as well, because they need to know that. I mean, just imagine being able to hear over the loudspeaker, the things that are available at your school. If you don't have something and you need something, a lot of times our kids are not assertive. They don't speak up for themselves. They don't even know sometimes what to ask for and all of that. But imagine, how much safer they would feel and how their mental health would be affected on a positive side if they knew that they had those resources available to them. Also, the parents. I know that safety is a huge issue in our communities and in our schools. I know that our schools are facing some really tragic issues all across the board, all across the nation when it comes to safety. That's why those two go hand in hand. That's why mental health and safety are pretty much, two sides of the same coin. So I really want us to look at that piece of having parents more involved and updating what we use volunteer time for. I really feel like that could be utilized better for our students' protection and for their mental health, and bring back the family unity of our schools, because that's really missing. So I would like to thank everybody for listening to that and inviting me. It was good being here.
Thank you. We do appreciate hearing from you. Next, we have Mr. Emilio Ramirez from TAAP.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for the LLP students. That was really inspiring, and it's always great to see kids here at the beginning. I do think the message was good and on point for celebration of these months. And I do want to say that I like my hair as well, what I have left, and that even if it goes white, I'm still gonna like it. Okay. Recognizing women was appropriate, and then obviously Waite High School, my alumni. So it was a good day today for I see Bob over there and Dr. Durant too. Last thing, I think people aren't talking about it, but STRS made some changes to the retirement system that does affect many of us, many of our members, and I'm very happy for that. It does change our lives. It adds 3 years to myself, so I'm very glad and happy for that. So thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. I don't see Mr. Dalton or Ms. Bailey. All right, so we will go to section 5, comments by the board. Mr. Vasquez, yes.
I've been wanting to make my comments, and I think we ought to think about when we reorder the agenda, because I think we want to make comments about people who make presentations and then by this time they've left, and it makes it difficult, and really that's sometimes who we're speaking to. But I wanted to make some comments about a couple of things. One is that when we recognize the women in history recognition, I kind of see it as a recognition of all women. So I'd like to recognize all the women in this room. I also like to recognize my wife, who I think is one of the greatest women in history, and all of you women, everyone, because you are significant and have made significant contributions of your own. And I think that that's really important to recognize. I recognize it on a daily basis, and I think everybody should. The other thing that is along with that theme is that we had the students from LP Stewart, and they are going to be the future women in history. So I thought that that was appropriate too, and very proud of the presentation that they made and what we're doing in our schools. And I think the theme just goes along. We're developing the future women in history, and we need to recognize that on a daily basis. The other thing is the recognition of the Waite High School boys basketball team. As Mr. Ramirez has stated, Mr. Ramirez, Dr. Durant, myself are Waite alumni, and I said to the principal before he left is that, you know, even though roughly we all graduated around the same time, what's really nice and important to recognize is that, as everyone else does, the schools that they all graduated from, is that this carries on, and what they did and what they're being recognized for reflects on us. It still reflects on us because we're not in school anymore. Doesn't mean that we've left that all behind us. It's a pride that we carry with us, and it's a pride that these young people are carrying on our behalf. And that's really important to me. I don't ever forget that. So I was discussing with some of the boys and the principal that fact. So, and you know, Mr. Sexualty, well-deserved award. You know, you and your staff worked very hard day after day to make sure that we're doing things the right way and that we're good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And I think that these kinds of awards also reflect on the school district, reflects on all of us, reflects on your staff. I see Dr. Durant nodding his head. And, you know, I hate to say, but it's not just your award. It's kind of an award for all of us, with you leading the charge for that and your staff. So just wanted staff and yourself and everybody to know that how much that's appreciated and how that hard work on an everyday basis is very much appreciated. That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Harwood. Okay. Hello? It looks like it is, but I don't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, there it goes. Okay. All right. So obviously, I'm going to echo everything that Mr. Vasquez just said. The students at LP Stewart are phenomenal. I wanted to jump in and dance and sing with them. I would not be acting a fool like that, though. So bravo to the young ladies, because they truly, I loved the song. I loved the message. And I think it's important for young ladies to feel good and proud about themselves. Thank you to the Waite boys basketball. I know that normally, boards may not recognize teams that lose, but I felt that the heart for them to stay on, they didn't quit, they continued, they persevered, and for others from other districts and officials to recognize them, the least we could do was to honor them with the heart of our district, and really, they truly showcase that. I'm so impressed with their actions. And then I wanted to make a little comment. I know that we didn't honor anyone tonight from the history sessions that are going on, but Robin Hage and Joe Boyle have done phenomenal work. If you get an opportunity to go online on our TPS YouTube channel, you'll see hopefully I know Joe Boyle's session was on there, and I was able to watch it online. Truly inspiring to see our staff go that extra mile and showcase the history of Toledo and of TPS. Mr. Sick-Schulte and your staff, please let them know that we are so grateful. This is quite the award. And yes, I understand, Mr. Vasquez, it's a district award for sure. But truly, we're going to take credit because we hired you. So, and I'm just saying. And then also congratulations to the retirees, because 416 years worth, and the blood, sweat, tears, and the love that you have given this district. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We could not do this here without what you do each and every day in our district. So thank you very much for that. And then just a reminder to everyone to look at the House bills that are flying out of this state legislature right now. One right now is House Bill 582. I just want to draw your attention to it because it's focusing on term limits for school board members. So running every 2 years, listing a partisan attachment to you, and then term limited as far as how many years you can serve on a school board. So it's going to the committee right now, and so we need to make sure that we are on that. We know from just being on the board for going on 9 years this year, consistency on a school board matters. It matters for levies, it matters for stability, it matters for leadership in this district. So I think it's foolhardy on the particular state legislator that is bringing it forward. And it's extremely political, which school boards should be focusing on governing the district and not having to deal with politics down at the State House. Just as a reminder, 327 is also something we need to pay attention to. Divisive concepts. I would like to at least know who's going to decide what divisive concepts are on any given day, in any given classroom, at any given time. I don't think they can police it, and we need to argue against it. And then, as a reminder, the backpack bill, we know that it's headed our way, and we need to strategize and push the envelope on that one. That changes the dynamics of public education at the heart. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to sound like a broken record to what has already been stated, so I'll make it real short. I'm very appreciative of the positive energy that we started our board meeting with today. With so much that's going on in our community and our world, it's just a breath of fresh air to see something positive and something productive. And so to the LP Stewart girls, I love my hair. I'm singing that all the way home. And regardless of what it looks like, I love my hair. So it just was amazing to see that and to feel their energy. Also, as Ms. Garwick stated when we were in our committee, to hear the story of the boys team at Waite, the varsity basketball team. One of the things was, prior to hearing the story of the official sharing, I've actually been in several games where the boys played and they were undermanned. But they kept that same consistent drive and energy. Even if they didn't win the game, they won every time they stepped on that court. And I think, as Mrs. Barwick said, that's really a representation of our district, that we have the heart that no matter what it looks like, we keep doing, we keep thriving, we keep making sure that we're on the field and on the court to do what needs to be done. So very, very pleased and excited for them and what they're doing. To our treasurer, thank you and your staff for the hard work that you continually do as well. Just thank you for allowing our district to be that light that shines even in the midst of everything. So we appreciate you. And I can say that I was one of the people that said yes for you to come as well. So thank you. Mrs. Barnes, thank you for the recognition of the women. As Mr. Vasquez said, you know, all of the women here, we salute and celebrate you this month. To my wife, that'll probably be watching the replay of this, I salute and celebrate you. And to my daughter, and just excited. This is really great times for our district, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you.
Ms. Barnes?
Very smart move mentioning the wife. I'm both of y'all smart on that. Y'all know better. First, I mean, of course, everything the board already says. This is why we get up in the morning, because we know change is coming. We know it's happening and good things is happening in our district. But on a personal, the young queens at LP Stewart, I just, when they start singing, I wish I had that when I was growing up. You know, that representation that I could love my hair regardless of what people said. And I think that's showing the waves and the change that we're making. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to know that. And even still today, we had to actually pass something to say, hey, do not discriminate based on hair texture. And for them to say, hey, this is me, deal with it now at that age is so amazing. I'm just in awe still. So shout out to them and their principal. Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. Waite High School, I just love the story. I love the story of the underdog because I feel like at the end of the day, right now in this world, we kind of feel like that. And they're just a vision of hope that if we get out there, do our best and have pride, it's still a win. And that's what it showed me tonight. I have so many messages coming from this evening. It's amazing. Ryan, thank you and your staff for doing what you do. I don't know numbers and I'm bad at math, but I know you do good because you got the award for some reason. So I am happy to say congratulations because I couldn't help you. And I'm so happy to see our interpreters back. This is one of my biggest hearts because accessibility should also be in our DEI work. And we're making sure that our deaf community, our families, our students all know that they are welcomed here in TPS. And we're working on different languages, Mr. Gant, cough, cough, to make sure that everyone, you know, has a space here in TPS. So I'm really happy to see you all back. I want to give a quick update on our 3R program. Dr. Duran has been doing an amazing job working with our community partners. Miss Butts, Tina Butts, has been doing the Young Men of Excellence, and the Homeboys Motorcycle Club on the East Side has been planning, and they are excited that they're going to be taking 50 of our 9th grade Waite students to camp overnight. And so we are really, when we're saying we're being innovative about how to, like Mr. Bass says, look at that mental health, look at that reaching into community. We have 2 strong, we have more, but these 2 are like out the gate showing off, and I gotta make sure that everybody knows the good work that they're doing. And to piggyback off what Ms. Barb said about House Bill 327, for those who are watching at home and those here tonight, I want you to think about something. Everything that we talked about, except the Waite High School basketball team and Ryan and his team, would not be able to be talked about if House Bill 327 passed because it could be divisive. So our Women's History Month celebration, be just literally giving them roses. Mr. Vasquez even congratulating his wife, and Mr. Parker congratulating his wife because that can be divisive. Our young ladies performing tonight would definitely be banned. So please think about how far the reach goes, because if you look at the bill, it doesn't have a limit. So everything, like I said, besides our congratulations to Waite, our retirees, and to Ryan, everything else will be off the table. So we have to make sure that we are up on this and how it affects us and if we're moving towards change so these young girls can still grow up to be proud TPS women. We have to start fighting now for them. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I am going to take a couple of big picture things to heart and think about whether we want to move board comments to immediately following presentations. I too was chomping at the bit to say something as each of these presentations came forward. And same with Ms. Shavas's comments. It brought to mind some efforts. Of course, everything is before COVID, and sooner or later we're going to be through our 3 R's too and say, well, I think we can catch up now. But I remember working on something that, for lack of a better name, we drafted the definitive guide to TPS. And Ms. Mazur's department was helping us to like put together some sort of interactive definitive guide that was everything from, you know, courses and partners, which mental health partners are paired with which schools, what after school programming and tutoring. And so I think we need to resurrect the notion of the definitive guide to TPS and sort of an interactive something, you know, searchable that people can get easily, find out what's going on in their schools. And the other thing that came to mind, and I wanted to get a nod from her, this is what she was thinking about, the notion of parents as their volunteer work becoming some sort of ambassadors, right? So some sort of ambassador program where it's not just coming in and, you know, helping with something that they need right now in school, almost like a little mini speakers bureau or a group of ambassadors that are experts at the definitive guide to TPS and also pushing out social media and that sort of thing. So definitely interested in pursuing some of her ideas. I love that she specifically said, you know, it's one thing to have the programs and another thing for others from outside the district to be pointing them out to the community at large and making sure that people know where to go for what. So I was inspired by some of her ideas as well. And, you know, even thinking about moving our agenda a little bit so that we have a better opportunity to have some feedback after presentations. I believe that would take us to the consent agenda. I'm going to read through the titles and the chair of each of these action items. I always like to mention that if you want to see the meat of the work, that you can do that on board docs, that each one of these sections that I mentioned are based on the committees. And that's where the work goes. Everyone on this board has three or four committees. The minutes for those committees can be found on board docs as well as their agendas ahead of time. So that's where you'll see the meat of all of this. So section 601 through 640 are the consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent and move it to the discussion section as needed. Items 6.01 to 6.08 is the Human Resources, Staff Development, and Training Committee, chaired by me, Polly Taylor-Gherkin, and co-chaired by Mr. Randall Parker. 609 to 613 is Finance and Business Operations Committee, chaired by Mr. Bob Vasquez and co-chaired by Mrs. Chris Barwig. Item 6.14 is the Technology Improvement and Process Committee. There are no action items from that committee this month. I chair that, and it is co-chaired by Bob Vasquez. Item 6.15 and 6.16, the Board Curriculum, Instruction, and Academic Excellence Committee is chaired by me and co-chaired by Mrs. Chris Barwig. Item 6.17 through 6.32 is the Policy Committee, chaired by Ms. Sheena Barnes and co-chaired by Mr. Bob Vasquez. Item 6.33 through item 6.35 is the Arts, Athletics, and Student Activities Committee, chaired by Ms. Chris Barwig and co-chaired by Mr. Randall Parker. Item 6.36 and 6.37, Family and Community Engagement Committee, chaired by Mr. Bob Vasquez and co-chaired by Ms. Sheena Barnes. Items 6.38 through 6.40 are approval of board meeting minutes. I would like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Hearing no discussion. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Thank you. That takes us to section 7 of the agenda, and that consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings that I mentioned. They're all available also on board docs. No action is required. So we can proceed to section 8 of the agenda. Section 8 is a discussion session. And here I would like to ask the board members to take a look at their calendars to see if we can narrow down some options for a special board meeting for the purpose of a working session or board retreat and our required Head Start governance training. I think we're looking at June at this point because we have graduations in May. And so if we could look ahead, and then I guess one of the questions I want to just make sure I'm clarifying is, are we more likely to want something that starts, at the end of the day, go into the evening, or are we interested in a Saturday morning? We're talking about like 3.5 hours, maybe 4. 3.5, I think we can do it. I think once before we said we could, if we started at 4, we could go 4 to 7:30, something like that. Is that, can you start at 4, Bob? That's, okay.
Yeah. I can
So,
start.
I mean, is that what we're thinking is more of a, you'd rather do a Saturday?
Not 4 hours.
It'd be more like 3.5. So would you rather do a Saturday morning?
I would prefer to do a Saturday morning, but I will tell you, I mean, if we're looking at, when do we need to have the Head Start governance done?
By the end of, by August, by the end of this. So
Okay.
June or August, basically is what we're facing. Before the
Okay.
start of this new school year.
Okay, so, I think we've talked before about April and May are just really
Out,
tough,
exactly.
right? So if we could look in June,
That's what we're looking
I would be more open to a Saturday morning as opposed to an evening.
Okay. So for me, the Saturdays in June that I have available are the 18th and 25th.
May I ask, we had an agenda, believe that was given out that would require 3 hours, because if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Allen, your presentation, 30 minutes roughly to an hour, is that correct? Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
15 to 30 minutes. So I just want to make sure that we are, because this includes the administration staff, correct?
It'll include those who need to be there once we finalize the agenda.
Because I want to also be conscious of their time because it's summer as well. So just want to make sure if we're putting 3 hours in that our agenda reflects that, and then also that we have an outcome for that agenda.
Right, so the agenda is not finished, it's in draft form, so if board members have any other input into what needs to be on it, those things that are on the agenda have been mostly curated by the administration over time and include Mrs. Natachek for some key presentations that she wants to make under each of those topics. I think that they're all, important topics, and it wouldn't be a waste of our time, that's for sure.
Like Mrs. Barwig, if we're doing it in June, Saturdays would be better for me as well. Yeah. And I'm open on Saturdays for the month of June.
Did somebody throw out a date?
I have 2 Saturdays that I'm available in June. That's the 18th and the 25th. And I'm willing to do a Saturday as well.
Either one's good with me. Can we start at 6:30, 7?
6:30.
Is this at night? 6:30?
No. Then we're back to.
But I would be willing to entertain an 8 a.m. session.
Likewise.
Okay,
8 a.m. sounds good.
okay.
Either day works for me.
We can put a pencil on that because I have a lot of coalitions I belong to and speaking engagements that I already said yes to, that they haven't gave me the finalized date that's out of town. So if it's going to be Zoom, maybe that will work for me.
You would certainly be permitted to zoom in.
Yeah. So I won't say yes till I know my other agendas first.
Is this Saturday meeting going to be in person or Zoom?
No, it should be in person, but we're permitted if someone needs to zoom in, to have them zoom in.
But I would really like us to make sure that if we're doing 3 hours that, because I know how it is to have vacation time and then you still have to work or work around that. And, usually June is the vacation time for our staff. So I just really want to keep that in mind.
It won't be the first time we've ever asked the superintendent and the cabinet to come to something for a few hours on a Saturday, right? Not very often, but not the first time.
I think,
So I think we're down to 2 Saturdays in June.
that's fine. I mean, right now, I'm available for both. Again, if something from OSBA pops up, I will let you guys know. That's why April and May are just, it's too busy
Right, so
for me.
we've
with-
already eliminated April and May.
Yeah, yeah. So
Is
I'm
there-
okay with those particular dates.
Is there an
Um,
alternative, like a plan B for a late afternoon into early evening option? If we didn't land a Saturday for some reason, is there another day that would be, for me, it would have to be, starting the 13th, the third, that second full week. Anything after that, I think I can become flexible one way or another around our already scheduled committee meetings and et cetera.
Well, I think some of our board members work during the day, so I think even a late afternoon might be an issue. I think right now,
Well, we've
let's
done
just
that
focus on the
before.
Saturdays.
Okay, focus on the Saturdays.
Focus on the Saturdays. Let Ms. Barnes go ahead and look at her calendar as well. Mr. Vasquez, you're open for those 2 dates?
Yeah, and I don't want to be difficult, but the sooner we lock them in, the easier, because then I put them on there and then tell people don't schedule anything.
Right.
Agree.
All right, so let's try to come up, I'm gonna pencil in the 18th and the 25th, and let's try to see if we can lock one or the other in, and then Mr. Gant will help finish up the agenda and get us a facilitator. Right, you had some ideas for facilitators we can revisit.
Shouldn't we get a facilitator first before scheduling so they can tell us the dates?
Well, I think we're gonna need to schedule it. We're gonna have to get something on the calendar and go from there, one way or another. We'll find someone. We can reach out with at least, the 2 dates and a couple of facilitators, see who we can get to pencil it in. If it doesn't work out, then we'll start from scratch. Gotta start somewhere. Okay, anything else on that topic? Section 9, walk-ins. Do we have any walk-ins? No walk-ins. Then section 10, early childhood education. Chair Sheena Barnes and co-chair Mr. Randall Parker. Ms. Barnes?
Dr. Allen, do we have anything this evening?
We have 2 items that you approve. One is a contract amendment for one of our delegates, and the other one is our, we do periodic reviews of policies and procedures and reapprove those.
Do they need separate votes? Okay. And we need motion for 10.01?
So moved.
Second.
If there's no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken,
Yes?
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Okay. 10.02. Need a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. If there's no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwig.
Yeah.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Section 11 has the early childhood education reports and minutes, and they're provided for informational purposes, required to be provided to the full board. Any walk-ins for early childhood? Now we are in section 13. Superintendent, any comments?
Yes, again, honor Women's Month. Congratulations to all our ladies here. And Superintendent Sanders and myself wanted to get together to honor Mr. Ellis and taking a picture. But I thought it was essential that Ms. Jordan was there because she was the glue between all of us. And by her being each one of our administrative assistants, the picture really brought harmony in essence of what it looked like at the same time. Minorities being in some of the highest positions in the district. So I think it was exciting. So thank you, Ms. Jordan, and keep doing what you're doing. And again, I want to say in regard to our sign language, great to see them here. And thanking Ms. Barnes in making sure of that, but she doesn't know a personal story in regard to, on my wife's side of the family, I have a nephew who has autism, and I asked why he's not part of the family events, because he had difficulty in his behavior with the animals and things within the house and etc. So he doesn't even come. I observed her with Bambino and seeing her using sign language to have him under control. I recommended to him. He now comes to all the family events. His behavior had changed 180 degrees, all because he couldn't communicate verbally sign language with the key. So it's essential to have this here, and so it's a touching thing to see it. We'll continue to enforce it as well as support it as we move along. Regards to leveraging, if you see in regard to my social media, and today just another addition to it, I continue to say TPS continues to push in regard to leveraging alternative dollars from the state, Fed, as well as private entities. And so again, when you rehash it, Bloomberg 350 from their foundation, Medical Mutual 300, Landman and Goldman 500,000. Now tomorrow will be the announcement of dollars through Marcy Capture's office, which again, I will post it again and say we continue to leverage federal dollars and not burden the taxpayers, and continue to provide a narrative. And not only that, in regard to health partners, Western Ohio received $1.7 million to put health centers within Bowser as well as START. Again, another grant opportunity through the state. And then to have the state audit award awarded to Mr. Steckschulte and his Treasury division speaks volume. Not only that, with the bond rating in regard to the impact the bond rating has had, it's a true reflection of board members, Treasury division, administration, and school district really working hand in hand to be able to do that consecutively in 3 years or 4 out of 5 years. So kudos and TPS proud.
Mr. Treasurer, any comments?
I have none this evening.
What?
You guys have covered it multiple
We're
times,
so
but
proud
we all
of
know
you.
that we have a good staff that really helps get that through. So, but you guys covered it.
Thank you. Board members, one more chance.
Yeah, Mr. Steckschulte is a humble man. All his comments are by action, not by words.
Oh.
All I want to say is that in the family engagement committee, there is a scheduled meeting with the SMART students coming up, and so it's in the minutes of the committee meeting, and all board members are invited, so you might want to take note of that. It's on May 11th, and it's at Urban Air. You might want to check to make sure the schedule time doesn't change, but that's what it's scheduled for right now. And then the other thing is that I want to point out is that the last committee meeting was 3 hours, which, and I'm not complaining it was too long or anything. I'm just saying we cover a lot of information. And one of the things, and Madam President, you mentioned it, that working on, and also was mentioned by the parent representative, was the some kind of resource guide. You have to connect us to whoever's effort, because we are also having people in family engagement working on the guides. We need to bring them together to make sure, and we talked about it for the last couple of weeks, and they're starting to work on it. So we don't duplicate our efforts. We should make sure that they merge and meet. So those are my only comments.
Well, again, Mr. Steckschulte, please relay to your staff how grateful we are, because we know that they put in a lot of hard work to achieve that. We thank them. And the parent representative, I have to tell you, my heart is full, because starting as a parent in this district and pushing for Parent University, and now we have the collaborative, and we're getting parents back up here and involved. And what she said, bringing those ideas from parents that are in the schools And I already warned her that the last 3 parent congress presidents wound up on the Board of Ed. So I put it out there already for her. But it's really important to have that parent engagement piece and listen to what our parents have to say. They are living what is going on in our community right now, and they have that direct impact on our students. So I'm so appreciative. Thank you.
Esther?
No further comments. I just want to point out, once again, House Bill 327, Dr. Durant couldn't say none of that stuff he said about what Miss Angie have done with 3 Black superintendents. Just want to put that out there. And also for Miss Shabazz, seeing her is always a breath like her son that attends J-Lab is also one of my community babies. And so when we're saying we're TPS proud, it's almost like we're saying we're TPS family. So please take that and walk proud with that, because we are a family.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I have nothing to add to this awesome meeting tonight, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. If there's no discussion, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Warwick.
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
We are
Yes.
adjourned. We're adjourned. Thank you.